And in the comments, I asked, what are some skills, attributes, or habits that you have attained? Because yesterday we were talking about the book Man's Search for Meaning and Viktor Frankl's um, idea that we have a power of giving our attitude an adjustment so that life can bring us more rewarding things, that we can go through our suffering and find purpose and meaning in the suffering. And not that we seek out suffering to find purpose, but that in the suffering that naturally happens, we can find purpose. We can attain a reward of learning and growing our strength and our mental fortitude and our spiritual fortitude. And he also mentioned the very common phrase of with a why, when you have a why, you can bear almost any how. And again, just to kind of refresh that conversation, Victor um, was a prisoner in a Nazi concentration camp and a death camp, work camp, and he was also a psychiatrist. So he really took his suffering as an opportunity to attain more knowledge on how the human mind, how the human spirit copes and adjusts to the environment of such devastation and violence and not lack of sanitation, just the whole situation of being in a concentration death camp. You feel me? And how that really was affecting people in the different ways that people could go. And he mentioned like some people kept their humanity at a higher level, and some people went down to their most primal, animalistic basicness. But his main point in the first part of his book, because I haven't finished it, was that we can adjust our attitude towards life. And today I wanted to talk about some of those attitudes, some of those skills, some of those habits that you have attained that you may not have picked up specifically, like intentionally, right? Like with Vector, um, he was in a concentration camp and he did not choose to go there. You feel me? So he attained some skills and some habits that um, needed to be added to him for his success in life, right? And again, I'm not going to go into the whole thing because read the book. But we are put in different situations where we have to, well, we don't have to, but we pick up different skills because we're children, right? And we're learning about the world, so we have to learn how to operate in the world. And we do that automatically. So I was I was specifically thinking about my own journey with this because I have been going through this work and really transforming myself for the past 5 years or so, since like 2017. I've really been on this journey, and I was finding that, as I said, we were children and we learn different ways of perceiving the world, of labeling the world, of interacting with the world. And for myself, the healing that I needed to go through wasn't as heavy as many people that I know and have come across in this work. There are some people who have some very traumatic stories that they have grown from and that find strength from and help other people to process. But for myself, it was mostly like internal battles of my judgment and my critical thinking and my thinking that I had to do everything by myself. And I realized that most of that came from my mother, you know, and I didn't want to like put that on her. You feel me? When I was first doing my work, I was like, this is just something that I was making up. I pulled from all parts of the world. But now that I am back in my mother's space and I'm living with her, I'm realizing that yeah, I did pick up a lot of judgment from her. I did pick up a lot of critique from her. I did pick up also an independence that can borderline on um, pride. You feel me? And I'm seeing how much of that was from her, was rooted and seeded from her and the person that she is. And that is no tea or no shade to her because she learned it from her parents and they learned it from their parents. And it was all a part of being a black person in society and in this culture of America back in those times. And then as time progresses, and then we pick up these different skills and these different habits that we use to protect ourselves, that we use to advance ourselves. And since I am able to observe those attributes um, and those habits of thinking and those mindsets from a detached point of being like my mother is just another person and she happened to be the one who brought me to life. But she's just another person and she has her own story and the way she does things. And she had children during that time, and I was one of them. And, I picked these things up, and I don't have to judge her for that. I don't have to judge myself for that. I can simply release what doesn't serve me and recognize that that was not originally of my spirit and who I am internally and energetically, that was something that I picked up. And it's been a very cleansing experience, and I feel like it's helping me. I haven't had these conversations directly with my mother, but I feel like it's really helping me to um, strengthen our relationship and see how um, I was a child and I saw her as this big, high and mighty thing and this perfect being, and that this was what it was supposed to be, and she is the standard. So that's what I should aspire to. Excuse me. I was like, attain to? That's not the word. Aspire to. Because I should aspire to be my highest self, not another human being.